Sam Laporta or Jahmyr Gibbs, who has more receiving yards this season for the Lions?
Ooh. Before I give my final answer, I think there are three important factors that play into how productive each of these rookies will be and who ultimately has more receiving yards. One, Jahmyr Gibbs' big plays. If Jahmyr Gibbs can maybe take a couple screens or short passes for 40, 50, 60-yard touchdowns or just 40, 50, 60-yard plays, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is that type of player, and that will heavily inflate his receiving yards numbers, and it will obviously be very, very beneficial to the Detroit Lions offense. I think he can get some yak yards, and that will be one of the factors. And two, and something you alluded to with your monologue, does Sam Laporta separate himself from the rest of the tight end room pack? Because we all know that when TJ Hockenson got traded, no individual tight end was as good as TJ Hockenson, not even close, but as a unit, they were productive. And one of their ragtag tight ends, Brock Wright, made one of the biggest offensive plays of the season with that game-winning touchdown catch and run versus the New York Jets. I think it's key for Sam Laporta to separate himself and be the clear tight end number one, especially if he wants to have a highly productive rookie season. But at this point, it sounds like they're all making strides, so we don't exactly know. And number three, the Jameson Williams suspension. I think one of the biggest beneficiaries from that, from the receiving standpoint, is Jahmyr Gibbs. Because we talk about Jameson Williams as that Ferrari, that guy who just has game-breaking speed, the likes of which we haven't really seen with the Detroit Lions ever. He's going to step onto the field and be one of the fastest players in the NFL, maybe even in NFL history when it comes to football speed. But Jahmyr Gibbs, he's kind of a Ferrari himself. He ran a 4.36 at the scouting combine. He is the best receiving running back coming out of this draft. And Jahmyr Gibbs, I've heard some reports that he's even lined up at X receiver, which would be absolutely huge. And if they need that speed, game-breaking type player in Jameson Williams' absence, they might look to get Jahmyr Gibbs the ball in a variety of different ways, like running routes, like split wide. Obviously, running the football, screen passes, short passes, all of that in conjunction with each other. And if he is the main beneficiary from the Jameson Williams suspension, I think that will lead back into point number one, Jahmyr Gibbs' big plays. And I think he will get a few just by virtue of that. So my final answer after all of that, I would say Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. Just because I think he's going to replace a lot of the Jameson Williams production in the first 6 weeks, because he gives you that element that even with guys as great as Amon-Ra St. Brown just doesn't quite give, that game-breaking type speed.